You're gonna have to cut that one. You
Holy shit!
Next comic, give it loud for everybody for Anthony Eugenio. We're gonna have the next comic. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
You know what's not fair is that mics get to be Big Mike really easily. Like you could be like Lou, you could be Big Lou, you could be Big Mike. Like all those are. There's no Big Anthony. There's no Big Nick. There's no Big Wayne. You know that's not a thing that you're gonna.
My dad
get.
was
But
Big
Mike.
Wayne.
Your dad was Big Wayne.
I'm Little Wayne. My dad was Wayne. Yeah, so it was Big Wayne.
Yeah, I
Wayne.
mean, yeah. But that's if you know the whole family. I'm talking about like, yeah.
His dad was Lil Tucci. Lil Wayne. Wayne, you didn't know this? Wayne's dad is Lil Wayne. But he can't be Big Wayne. That's very true. But I've been called Big Nick before, my younger years, when my size was more drastic. Because I was basically this size in, like, 6th grade. So I was always, like, the biggest kid. So football coaches, like youth football, I was Big Nick a good amount of times. But,
I get called Big Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's like that's very passive aggressive fat ass. It's like, hey,
Big Guy and Bud. No one ever says Bud when they're happy with you.
You know,
So it's like, yeah, Bud, you got to fucking plug it in here instead of there, Bud. It's always like, Bud, you're a dumbass. It's always that. That's big in New England.
I have a coworker that I said to him, I was like, hey, how you doing, Bud? And he goes, did you just fucking Bud me?
Yeah,
like,
it's basically the C word.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was so offensive. I just
No,
something
Bud.
I say. What if your name is Bud? I know a Bud.
But Buddy is okay.
Buddy, I'm not your buddy guy.
Hard Bud, you just stop the Bud. It's kind of go time. Dealing with like electricians and contractors, that's where I kind of learned that. Where it's like, okay, if I'm getting called Bud, I fucked something up. Which is ironic. But yeah.
Interesting.
You ever hear Gordon Ramsay when he's talking to somebody who's fat? He calls him Big Boy. I love that.
Oh, big boy, yes. Oh, I bet you want to eat that, big boy.
I know the guy.
Fat ass.
He does not like. It's always the 370-pound guy in the kitchen. He's like the big boy, and the guy's like, "Listen, we all know. Why are you gonna go after
You
me
ever
so
seen
hard?"
the episode where the guy he fucks up a piece of fish, and then he takes it back and he puts it down, and he's just killing this fat guy all season, and no one even knows why he's still there. And in between like dinner rush, the guy starts trying to eat the fish because they're still good. He's like, it's still good, it's fish right here. Like, oh my god, you fat fuck! And he just railed on him for being a fat ass. It was one of the funniest
the
things
same
I've ever seen.
season, I think it was there's the big fat Asian cowboy guy. He cried immediately. Yeah, they were like, Ramsey was like, how's everybody doing? And he was like, I love when people laugh into cry. It's my favorite thing.
Just trying to fake it, and it just breaks through. The misery
like
just breaks through.
I forgot like the famous interview with that lady when she was talking to the little boy, and she's like, "Where's your mom?" And he's like, "That's just gold."
The best one. It's like the most played out because everyone like reshared it. It's like the most meme thing, but it's still the funniest when he literally takes 2 pieces of bread and puts it like on both sides of that Asian woman's face.
Idiot
He goes,
sandwich.
"What are you? An idiot sandwich. I'm an idiot sandwich." That is just like, that's when I knew the show had to be fake.
There's a documentary out there called Boiling Point. And we might as well, Wayne, we're going to start the podcast. We're in. Let's just fucking start.
Are we in? I see the clock running, but
Well, I usually hit record to start, but you don't want to give them a proper intro?
No, fuck it. We're cold opening. This is a cold open. Shut the fuck up. All right, so let's. This is the first ever open mic paying cold open. We're in the middle of James Gandolfini's living room. He's slapping his wife around. We're just into the action.
All right. I'm game.
we see the body. What do we do in action?
Exactly. We're in. Woke up this morning. God, no, see, we're not. None of that. None of that shit. Okay. So, I was watching a thing today. James Gandolfini was not playing Tony Soprano. and he was like arguing with this British guy, and he was wearing a sergeant's outfit. That guy, he's got like a New York kind of Jewish regular accent normally, and it takes everything away from the character. He's such a big giant pussy if he's not doing that New Jersey accent.
Yeah. No, he has to be Tony. But he was such a good actor, though. Like, he made you think he was a pussy.
It's never good to hit your wife. But if you watch The Sopranos at the end of it and you don't get 2% more, like, it's okay. Like, if she mouths off like that, like, if you don't have that a little bit, they made it pretty good.
No, The Sopranos proved if you do something a little bit over and over, you will normalize it. And domestic violence, that's all mob anything. Like, people always go, oh, my God, those were the good old days, the wise guys. Hey, it's like they were beating their wives mercilessly and selling drugs, but, every dad's man cave is just caked with the posters and the murals of The Sopranos. It's like, but they were good guys.
Across my social media, I came across some some videos of the honeymooners. There was just a scene of him getting upset that his allowance was, like, he didn't have the $5 for allowance that week. And he said the famous line, "To the moon, Alice, one of these days." And I was going through the comments, and not even one comment in was back when domestic abuse was funny. And I was like, that's still funny today.
That was
still
closed. Funny. That was closed fist domestic abuse. That was some serious shit.
That was like crack your neck before you do it, so you can open up your shoulder.
I know, but you know what was the greatest thing about that then? Because that was obviously, you can't do that. You can't do it. Lloyd Legacy would tell you right now, don't hit the women, everybody.
Lloyd.
Don't hit the women. That guy's a saint. Lloyd. However, at least
more like simp. Am I right, guys? I love Lloyd. Listen to me. I love Lloyd. Dear, I can't express to you how much I love Lloyd Legacy Sharp, but man,
he's unlovable.
He could also afford to dial it back with the ladies stuff. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little overboard. We get it, but it's kind of his brand now, so he's running with it.
Is. There was something like so
if it's helping him score, fine, but
I hate to blow up his. I hope he doesn't get angry at me for this, but he posted a thing that I thought was hilarious today. So there's a comedy contest. I don't know what it was over the weekend, and I don't even want to say just in case you get mad. Shut up, Wayne, because you're going to say it, and they're going to get mad at me. Don't say the name.
I was going to say who won.
Oh, yeah, Alexis. I saw that.
Look at Wayne always, like, knowing the right thing. Like, how about we help? Hey, Anthony, how about we help somebody out with some information and prop somebody up? Anthony's like, I'm about to talk shit about somebody. Shut up, Wayne.
I know.
Don't give someone credit in the middle of my bashing.
He's like pre-telling the detectives the crime I'm going to commit. Like, give me a second to commit the fucking crime.
But also trying to give one of the officers an award for doing a good job.
Well, basically, Lloyd's thing was he was like, well, a lady won first place, thank God. Unfortunately, a man won second place. However, it's okay because he had no arms. And because the guy, he's put a picture of the guy didn't have arms.
If Lloyd does not end up either being on or being a judge on America's Got Talent, I don't know what it takes. Because that's literally the logic. It's like, are you a woman or have you been mangled somehow? You have to have some kind of a story.
Yeah, he's like a champion of the disenfranchised. Like he's the champion of the people that are lower.
I think he's better than Nick Cannon.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nick Cannon's definitely fucked a lot more everything.
And after all that, does he have a title belt? Nope.
No
Is
title
belt custom?
I don't think so.
Because I bought, just for funsies, when I lived with my buddy Billy back in the day when we were heavy into playing UFC, we would keep track of who was the current winner, and we had a belt, and every night it would go mostly to me. Cause
did you have to wear it while you played?
Oh, I put it over my shoulder every time.
Over the shoulder? That's tough, too. That could get in the way. You're taking a risk.
Yeah. I'm good.
That's a badass move.
But I'm curious if it was just one of those, or if he had like a real replica, or if he had like
I don't think so. I think it's like, so the levels, being a wrestling dork my whole life, I know that there's a tier of replica belt. There's the shittiest one, which I had a bunch of, which is like it's basically foam with the plastic pressed into it.
Yep, I had one of
Then
those.
there's one, it's almost like seatbelt material. It's like a little bit nicer. And then there's like the actual replica that's like the leather and it's heavy. I think Lloyd's is like in the middle. Tier.
I had a
which I'm
friend-
happy about because those really nice ones are very expensive. And it would be kind of a lot to...
It'd be less funny if he was wearing like a real serious championship belt, because then he'd be like taking it serious. But no, you gotta have a slightly shitty one.
He'd be using it to hit people while the ref's not looking.
Yeah, if they make a misogynistic joke, he'd fucking knock him out with it.
Yeah.
Well, see, again, this is the
And
thing.
then
with
roll out of
Lloyd
the
that-
ring and go, what? I don't know what happened.
This is the thing I appreciate him so much is he only goes by altruistic thoughts when it comes to comedy. For instance, if you are a woman, it doesn't matter. You're hilarious. If you are lower, it doesn't matter.
I don't
you're
know
hilarious.
about that.
Hey, no, I'm fucking.
Did he say that?
He would.
Because I can introduce him to a couple women. I can introduce him to a couple female comics, and he'll
Hey, no,
see if
he'd put his lower lip above his other lip, and he would stand tall, and he would stand up for that lady. And I appreciates that because I am a talent
finger
slut.
wag.
Exactly. He would finger wag. He would do the whole thing. Not me. You could be as bad of a person as you ever want to be in the world. If you're talented, I love you. I don't care anything else like that, and that's why I'm not a good person.
Oh man,
And you're-
that covers a lot of ground.
Doesn't it? Yeah, say about
There's a lot of
that
people
person.
in history that were considered talented, and
Do you want to go to the Big H? You can go to the Big H right
I was
away.
gonna
and I
say
will find-
it's kind of hey, who's worse, you or me? That's the first place my mind went.
I know.
You want to talk
We
about public
both were.
speaking? He had talent for public speaking.
Come on.
So, but I'm not
They-
putting words in your mouth.
They AI did his face and the Hitler. They AI did him so that he would do his speeches in English and they do it in his voice. Come on, like it's.
I
fucking,
remember
God
us
damn it,
having a
so
little
good.
gap of time before we thought we were getting taken off YouTube last time. I remember. I remember us having an opening 5 minutes that wasn't too bad. Right, we're just going.
Yeah.
All right,
no,
we've covered so much so quickly. We don't even realize.
Yeah, we've already figured out what happens when we say cunt too much, or we say something that I'll say probably liberals don't like. We get a lot less views on those on those episodes.
By the way, am I still speaking of championship belts?
I believe you are still number one.
I haven't checked. I don't check the stats.
Yeah.
I don't like to check my own stats, but I also like to know. Am I
That's
still
exactly what people who check stats say. That's the first thing they say.
Yeah,
Anthony.
I'm pretty sure you're still number one. You had Tommy Wires creeping up on you, but you didn't.
I'm
quite
trying to be a humble
overtake.
champion, okay? What do I want to say? I'm way better than everyone else?
You are unhumbly being humble.
Who did you think that was possible? Speaking of talent,
The most.
but I'm still number one, huh?
Still number one,
I had a whole plan. I was gonna come on here with sunglasses on
and a championship
and
belt.
pretend I was getting off the phone with like a producer, like I was too good for it. But I thought that'd be kind of corny.
Well, I think you single-handedly might be able to get us into monetizing this because we had a meeting with a company that wanted to do the podcast, and they were selling boner pills. Was that what it was?
yeah,
Like?
yeah, it was dick pills. Yeah,
Perfect.
I may need
by the way.
those soon.
Yeah, exactly. We were like,
I
perfect,
may need
perfect.
those.
And they were like, how many views do you get an episode? And I was like, wow, that is really like brave of you guys just to ask us instead of going and obviously looking at the real data because we could say anything. And I
They're
stupidly
trying to see
told
if
them-
you'll lie.
well,
Yeah.
you can't see Spotify. That's probably why they asked. They can see YouTube,
know-
but they can't see Spotify.
So dumb of me, so dumb, because I said the real number, which is really low. And they were like, but if I would have said your number, and I would have just said that one, and like that's what we get every time.
Go look at the
that-
episode with Nick Tocco. You'll find out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck around and
I
find
mean,
out.
what we
what are
would've got it.
what are we
That-
doing, Anthony?
I don't. Did you see any of the fake commercials that we did? Back
I
in the day?
did.
Yeah, so that's where that spawned from because we got rejected by them. We're like, fuck them. We'll do
Yeah.
our own.
We'll do a more. I don't mean to get overly involved, but if I'm going to be the mascot for the boner pill commercial, I think we do a little more casual. Something a little more tasteful, and we can just run that. This is for off air. This is becoming like a business meeting now.
Ooh, this is a great.
This is like a
this
team's
is a great
meeting.
point. Yeah. Because we
But
have.
fuck
Think about
you
it.
know?
We got an otter here. We got a grizzly bear and a polar bear. We got fucking like imagine the boner pill commercial we could make.
Let's get some. Let's animate ourselves as those animals.
I picture you sleeping just like an otter. Have you seen an otter sleeping?
I
Floating on
break
its back with
clams
its little
all over
fucking
my
paws up like
tummy.
this.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think. See, this is the thing with the gays is that they have the otters and the bears, but they have the otters and the bears. But could you imagine the violence that a bear fucking an otter would be? Like you couldn't even do the sloth bear from Asia. Like they can't. Why?
You
would they
really
put
are
us to
the
it?
animal guy, because I remember the last, the last podcast we were just talking about comedy, and then somehow we ended up talking about monkeys, and we went into a whole monkey thing and an elephant
Nature's
thing,
comedians.
and that was you. You're like, all right, how do we pivot to animals? Which is, not the worst thing in the world.
It's a lot.
Because I've been big on gorillas lately.
Oh,
I'm in the gorilla algorithm right now.
My favorite gorilla video I've seen recently is the gorilla that got caught in the rain. Did you see that one?
No.
He's out and he's like he's in a zoo enclosure and it just starts downpouring and he runs back and forth with his hands like this in the air to get into the.
Yeah, they're so human. Like
They are.
Planet of the Apes makes so much sense. I feel like we're so close to that. Just a little bit of genetic intervention, and we're right there because they act like people.
I probably
Like
said
the
this on
faces
that,
and the movements, like when they go, oh shit, they're just like, oh shit. Like
True.
it's just like it's exactly how you'd imagine.
I think I said this in the last podcast, but I have a friend who has a firm stance. Like, if you look at his core beliefs, if he was running for office, number one would be kill every monkey in the world. He said it from the beginning. He's like, they're too close. He's like, you think they're cute because they're smiling? They are too close. He's like, you're just going to fucking get a scenario where there's a monkey holding a knife to the president's neck, and he's going to be like, I fucking told you guys. It was just, why
There's this
close?
lady's Instagram. She seems amazing. She's just dedicated her whole life to animals. Like she adopted 2 tigers because their mother died, or 2 lions, and she's literally like raising them. And she's also like working with monkeys. And there's this hilarious video of her. She's just sitting so close to 2 giant gorillas in this like I don't know if it's like a, what you call it, like a zoo terrarium. I don't know what it is, but the you can tell which one is the dude because the female's just like sitting kind of nice. The dude is literally going like this because she just has pockets. That's why like safari people love cargo stuff because they have 50 pockets to fill with food to like get them out of Dodge. So she's just rifling through pockets because every time she gives him like treats, and I don't know what it was, some kind of fruit or whatever, he just go and like kind of like he kind of like whack her a little bit, just be like he's not even done eating what she just gave him, and he's already like more. I'm like, what happens if she runs out? Because that's the only line of loyalty. Like, what is keeping him from just going? And her face is just a mist.
You hope that's what he would do. But this is the problem with the gorillas. Name another animal that could literally
one-shot a rhino.
It could one-shot a rhino and also would fuck you to death. That's the only animal I think out there besides dolphins would do it.
This is what we were talking about with the monkeys.
They would.
I don't know if
their
gorilla could do
go-to.
that. Aren't gorillas famously known for having small?
No, I'm not saying
appendages?
the girth and size of his penis would be what would kill you. It would be the sheer pressure of a fucking 1,000-pound big giant silverback gorilla fucking you. I'm just saying they would do it. Like that's part of their.
It's not about the equipment; it's the pressure behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Wayne,
That's
you
real.
should
That's
know
actually
that.
kind of inspiring. That hits home for some reason.
Yeah, fucking pushing Coke cans into those poor.
Hey, it's
lady
about
girls.
effort, guys. It's about effort. They're the ultimate effort guys.
They are, but they do deserve to die. All of them, every single one. We shouldn't have them. There's not
don't
like
know.
You can't make a, if you kill an ant, then there's no grasshoppers, and then all the way, then we're all dead. You can't make that theory with gorillas because there's no good reason to have them. They are in zoos mostly, and then in the woods
I don't
by
want to
themselves killing each other.
participate in this monkey hate speech, okay? Because someone's going to get upset, Anthony. And to be honest, I just think you're probably right. I just think they're literally too cool to get rid of. Because I was just thinking, watching those videos, I'm like, no wonder we thought of, like, Planet of the Apes, Dr. Dolittle, George of the Jungle. It's like everyone's fantasy is to, like, somehow be cool with one of those animals. Like, you're tight with them. Like, you're the cool one. It's like, who wouldn't want to come up to a gorilla and, like, everyone's scared, but you're the guy who's like, what's up, George? And, like, daps you up. Like, everyone wants that. A tiger, you can just come up to it. We just want to be casual with, like, vicious, scary animals. And we get close, and then you get a Siegfried situation. And it's like, God damn it! We almost had a guy who was chill forever with tigers.
It's every animal.
But eventually
whales.
They can't hold it in.
Chimps.
I gotta say,
What's her name? Jane Goodall? Didn't she get, like, ripped apart?
No, she's still alive.
She's still alive. One of them. There was a lady who tried to pull a Jane. And she got
this is deep in my memory banks. So this lady, so there was a lady fucking a chimp. She was fucking the monkey because she was giving it. She lived with it her whole life. She was giving it red wine and Xanax and all kinds of stuff.
I know the story.
Fantastic. Yep. And then her friend came over and was like, "Hey, stop fucking the monkey." And the monkey's like, "What'd you say?" He was in his bathrobe holding a fucking red wine glass and a ball of Xanax, and she's like, "All this is over."
Dude, like, I really don't mean to be this guy, but I think you literally told this exact story on the last podcast.
I did. Yeah, I can't stop.
This has had an effect on your life, this story.
Well,
I'm happy you told it again, because we're seeing the true impact now.
I'm not happy about it, because I did come to the center core of what's going on here. So last time, I think we also started Hitler, and then I get...
We did. We talked about the dogs.
We did. We talked about Hitler, and then I get into we should wipe every monkey off the planet, and I get super passionate about it.
But luckily, we broke it up with Lloyd Legacy Sharp Talk, which I thought was positive.
It's reflexive to bring something so good in when you're saying something so bad. I think that's probably what I was trying to do there. But yeah, thank God for Lloyd.
That's right. Thanks, Lloyd. He's the most associated with the jungle in was it Somerville?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was his mic. He just promoted the shit out of it.
Yeah, that's
it's
like
not even his. I forget. Unfortunately, I forget who runs it. I haven't been able to go. I haven't been able to do it, but
Peter Lou runs that one.
Yeah, I told Lloyd when I saw him, because we were doing the Dirty Birds thing, the Dirty Birds show, and I was talking about that. I was like, dude, great job with the jungle. I see it everywhere. He goes, it's not my mic. I'm like, well, I don't think I would have heard of it if it wasn't for you, because you promoted the shit. The man is a master of social media promotion.
How was that Dirty Bird show?
It was great. It's been great. I've been on 2 so far for the actual theatrical performance. For people who don't know, I'm part of a show that I'm happy to be a part of with the Dirty Birds, which is, it's the bird puppets with Mike and Will. They're the puppets, and there's a whole theatrical skit show that goes along with them. And I have a couple parts in it, and there's a couple other funny people who are part of it. Andrew Boyle directs it. He was also a really funny comedian. And I play Farmer Fred in one of our skits, and I basically just go full Farley, just screaming in a pair of tight overalls with let's get back on the right track. It's very physical, and I can't get through one of them without just sweating through the whole outfit, the flannel, the John Deere hat, and it's just me and the Dirty Birds just going at it. It's one of those, you got to see it to believe it and know if it's what you're into, but I think it's hilarious. And Lloyd has a particularly interesting cameo in that skit where he. I'm not going to give away why or how he shows up, but he makes his way in as Michael Jackson.
Yeah, just say he moonwalks in there.
He moonwalks right through the cornfield as Michael Jackson, and it's just fucking hilarious. And
I think we're going to be at the next one, right, Wayne?
We had talked about it, yeah, on the 17th of August.
Yeah, 17th of August.
I talked to Mike about it. That was.
Do you guys do stand up too? Because that's more what I know how to do.
And that's where I kind of started with them. That was kind of my opening sentiment when they wanted me to come on. I'm like, hey, I'm more of a stand up guy. They're like, no, you'd be perfect for this crazy screaming farmer guy. We think it'd be great. We've seen your act. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how to take this, but if Fatty needs to make a funny, I'm not going to turn it down. And, it's more than me being a fat guy, but I do, flaunt it. Flaunt it if you got it. And, but no, they do both. So that's, they have their own stand-up comedy production, which is Delusional Comedy Productions, which is those two and another gentleman that I've yet to meet. I'd love to meet him and get acquainted. But, there's Delusional, and then there's the Dirty Birds, which is the traveling theater show. So we did that at a couple different spots, and it was really fun. And then the Delusional shows we were on at Thirsty Robot, which was awesome. Casey Crawford has headlined a couple of them. The great Casey Crawford.
The great, yeah. We just did one with him at Stark's Brewing, and he blew the place down as he always does.
Yep, and Stark's is awesome always. Great place for stand-up. I wish they would do. They already do a good amount, but I wish they would do even more because it's just so much fun there. So far, I've never had a bad experience there as far as stand-up goes. Stark Brewery and Manch.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Then this coming Saturday, we're doing the contest for Delusional. Also in Manchester.
Yes.
That's at it's not Liquid Therapy. That's the night before. What's
Backyard Brewery.
Backyard Brewery.
My old stomping grounds in Manchester.
Oh shit! Do you know the place?
Kind of on the Manchester. I'm really a Londonderry guy. It's kind of a Manchester-Londonderry border. Mm-hmm. Had many an occasion at the Backyard Brewery, so that'd be cool. I don't think I've done
hoping a lot of people there.
I haven't done stand-up anything since Stark the last time we were there together. So it'd be cool to kind of come back. Not that I'm traveling so far. I'm making my triumphant return all the way back from L.A. and New York, and
back to Manchester.
Nice to come home. It's really great.
But it's gonna be fun.
That's a hell of a weekend.
It is.
So that's me and Wayne that's our first back-to-back shows ever. We're doing for Delusional on Friday and Saturday. So Nashua on Friday at Liquid Therapy, like Wayne said. That one's going to be a cool one. And then the next day we're doing the contest. I'm hosting. Wayne's in the contest with Nick, so that's going to be good. Can't wait to see fucking gorilla polar bear action. We're back on animals. And then Sunday
we've been debating about the fight online for decades.
Yeah, now it's time.
And now we settle it. The polar bear and the grizzly bear.
Oh, yeah. They say a polar bear would fuck... we're back on animals. They would say a polar bear would fuck up a grizzly bear.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I think the polar bear is more aggressive because it's like, it's always dying, basically. It's always cold, fighting for its life. But a grizzly bear is so fucking big, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way. He just doesn't get mauled.
And a grizzly bear eats enough pine cones to jam its asshole closed for like 4 months. And I think anything that could do that, it's got the mental edge over a fucking
and the
polar
pain
bear.
tolerance. I mean, holy shit. We've all had a pine cone up our ass at least once, and it's you got to be really.
October, I would do it actually. If I can jam
you have
my
it scheduled.
with pine cones. Yeah, because in October,
know what?
Pine cone time. Yeah, I usually do keto in October, and I don't do weed or anything. It sucks. It's the worst month ever. It's like hate yourself month to appreciate all the good things. So what you also get when you switch your diet completely is a steady stream of diarrhea. So I, for 30 straight days, I always shit my pants at least once a week during that time.
So the pine cone does it?
Well, the pine cone would keep it, like kind of like a stop valve for the month of October, and I could pull it out at the end, and because
See, I would think it'd be too ribbed and flaky. I think it would just come down like a fondue tower.
Well, my asshole is kind of like a duck.
Kind of
Fondue tower.
kind of like descending.
That's a better way to describe it. I was going to describe my asshole like a duck vagina. Have you ever seen what a duck vagina looks like?
No.
I thought
You
that
didn't know
was
what
the
a duck vagina looks like?
I thought that was the duck's penis, is like a corkscrew.
It could to match the duck vagina. Do you see? It's
That's the
So
puzzle
do
piece.
they fuck like
Yeah.
this? Are they...
No, it's violent. You know,
Yeah, one of them just spins on top of him. Come on, almost there.
It's like
And then when he finally gets too close, they spin him the other way.
yeah, it's violent. It's very violent. But yeah, that's what my asshole looks like. That's my point. Fuck. Wayne, bring me back. You're so good at usually bring me back on track. And now
That's
you're
you know what?
shaking your head
That's I
over
was
there.
just thinking that. That's what kept the last one together.
Oh, man.
Is
Yeah, you threw me
Wayne
off.
keeping us
Yeah.
on track, and Wayne is just asleep at the wheel.
We had no
entirely.
intro. I'm all fucked up here. I'm a
That's
very
what it-
Sheldon-esque
do you wanna-
type of guy.
I'm not sure if any. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if anything we've done is savable. Do you want to just do the intro now and get
Start from
and get back into it?
You
get
can't
us on
turn
the
back
right
after
track?
duck vaginas. Duck vaginas.
Yeah, once you get there, it's so hack too. Everyone's go-to.
You know, it is kind of hack a little bit actually because Louis C.K.'s got that whole bit about a barrel of duck vaginas. You ever heard that bit?
I haven't.
It's
which
a
is shocking,
really
'cause I
old
love
one.
Louis.
Yeah, it was back when he was doing just jokes, and he was just like, I went to the Chinatown, and I saw a street vendor who had a barrel of duck vaginas. Like, how much more can you dominate a species than to have a
You
barrel?
poured out their vaginas for sale. This
It's
just
a
goes
lot.
to show, though, like this. It really is like I just can't stop thinking about last night. I was at an open mic. I was at Hotel Vernon in Worcester, and it's like, I'm sitting there, I'm working on new stuff. Everyone's like got their new bits they're trying to work out, or they're trying to add new stuff to old stuff and all this shit. And we're all trying to craft these jokes and be smart or whatever and just be funny. But with like written stuff. And it really is the dumbest off the cuff stuff that is the funniest shit in the world. Like, you cannot recreate it. Like, there's this one kid, his name's AJ Farrow. What's up to him if he ever sees this? I see him every once in a blue moon at this open mic, and he's just this like tall, confident, just off his rocker. He's wearing a headband for some reason, and he's just like zero fucks given. I don't even know if he has written material up there or if he's just going with it. But he goes up, and he's just funny, just riffing. And then there's other comedian goes up, Cynthia X Wang. I call her X Wing, like the Star Wars. I was like, "What up, X?" And she's up there, and she's like this cute, like Asian girl, and she's up there, and she's talking about like sex stuff, and she goes, "What? Who in the crowd likes to use two hands for secret fun time?" And like a couple guys in the audience, and AJ being one of them, raises his hand. And right as she's like trying to like spin off into like a bit, she goes, "Oh wow, that's impressive. Good for you guys." AJ just yells out, "Yeah, it's because I finger my asshole and jerk off." I could not breathe. I was laughing so fucking hard. The stupidest thing. He's also another comic just yelling out to another one in the middle of their set. No one should be condoning any of this, but I just pissed my pants the whole time. That was that was funnier than anything I'd heard written. Any like tightly, nicely packaged joke that's like clever. It was funnier than all of it.
The last time you'll ever see that poor girl do crowd work again. She was probably like, and that's why you don't do it. That's every time I do crowd work.
The poor thing, she wasn't even trying to do crowd work. She was just doing a quick like, hey, and then you go right into your stuff. You're not supposed to yell out exactly how you jerk off. And he just said it with a smile, just like, yeah. It's just like...
It's kind of funny how... we'll throw things like that into bits to try to get a little bit of interaction, but then sometimes you get it and you don't want it. Like when we did the show at Starks with Casey. I have a bit where I talk about gaining weight, and I say, I've gained a lot of weight, and I've gained so much weight, and I have a punchline after that, and there's a little bit of a pause before I say the punchline, and somebody yelled out, "How much weight have you gained?" It was like match game type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Fucking threw my timing off. I was like, I'll tell you, Gene, but. It threw my timing off so much. I was like, man, I started thinking, how should I change that so that doesn't happen? Because if that happens every time, So.
It's like one of those pressurized doors. Like, you're glad it doesn't just slam right back, but you're just waiting for it to close. It just takes too long to close.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, yeah, okay, like, just get off me so I can go to my next thing, because I'm actually freaking out inside trying to remember the bullshit I wrote down.
I have an immigrant bit that I do, and
of course,
classic, and classic immigrant bit.
Fucking.
And I was doing it. We were opening for Rodney Norman. I was hosting, and I did it. And there were some, let's just say, like, they were really upset about the Donald Trump verdict this week. Very upset about that. I could already tell these guys are about it. So I'm doing the immigrant bit. And I'm like, well, if these people don't have their papers, they should get out of here. And I'm doing a character, like it's a whole thing. But I was trying to go over the top, and these guys are like, yeah!
Yeah, no, you can't do that. They're like, he's right. I love his character. That should just be him all the time.
That's exactly the thing.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, hell yeah! I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, it's always like the fine line. Like, you don't want to, like, you're just happy anyone's listening.
That's true.
Let alone, like, get any kind of positive, like, reaction where they want to play along. But then you don't want to turn it into, like, this drawn out back and forth. Because also, it's like these crowd work clips, people don't understand, like, a lot of, like, these famous comics putting out crowd work clips, they have an hour and a half. Like, they're at these clubs, and they can do whatever time they want for the most part. Yep. So they can get tied up with somebody and go through the whole thing.
Huge
and finish their hours.
They can have.
Yeah, their hour pop-up set at the Comedy Cellar or whatever. We're, like, trying to be on our clocks. We're like, okay, thank you. And oh, yeah, that's funny. Like, I wish I could talk about that more with you, but I actually hit the stupid I'm rolling into and I'm already forgetting it, so you have to leave me alone. Okay, it's just like, we don't, 15 minutes goes by. 10 minutes
you fucking say that, but I want to bring up, because this is I wanted to say this before the podcast was over. I was so impressed with Nick Tocco, everybody in the entire fucking world. We were at Thirsty Robot, and it was tough. Because we had the setup in the wrong spot. We should have cut the room in half, a bit in the middle, because the sound system wasn't carrying to the back and people were talking their fucking tits off. So it was really hard to wrangle them in. Like, I was sweating trying to get people to fucking pay attention. It was so hard. And then you went up, and that carefree, like you're doing an hour type of set you were talking about, you did in the beginning, because you wanted to fill the beginning with a little bit of crowd work, I think you were saying, for it. And it was fucking the answer. Like, it was what they wanted. Perfectly. They knew you were relaxed. They bantered with you a little bit. It brought the energy up. It shut everybody up in the back room. And I was like, fuck me, I can't do that. So that was awesome.
Jeez. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's funny, because it goes back to what I was saying about the kid saying, just yelling out, I like to finger my asshole and jerk off in the middle of an open mic. Whether it's faux confidence or confidence, there's something about it that just people react to. And for me, it's absolutely faux confidence, because I was like freaking out before that. I'm like sweating my balls off, because it was that one guy off to the side,
off to the left.
Yeah, who just kept talking. So I'm like, I can't, like. there's probably a better time to do this, and I could probably do some stuff before getting to this, but I just jumped right to that because it was just going to be, like, bothering me the whole time. I didn't want to, like, roast the guy. I just wanted to, like, address him and just be like, hey, I hear you. Stop fucking yelling shit out.
Shut the fuck
and
up.
we will actually still have fun, I promise. Just cut the shit, and I made some joke that I don't know if everyone... I don't even remember what I said. I was hoping it would just make sense and everyone would go, oh, and like kind of... But you just kind of have to... I feel like... Because I've tried before, because I hate trying to do crowd work. It's just... It's so hard. It's a real gift when people can do it. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like if you don't address it, you're either going to just have this hum in the background, but if you address it and fail, then it's like... So it's a total, like, gamble. But I swear to God, I just lucked out. And my opening bit is about me and my girlfriend's sex life, and her mom was actually there. So I was freaking out because I didn't know how she was going to react to that either.
I was
and it was
standing
like
next
a
to her. She
good
was
sized
laughing her ass
room.
off. It was awesome.
Yeah, I had a feeling she'd be into it. Not into it, but you know, she'd be okay with hearing it because she knows, you know. Yeah, I'm just doing, you know, jokey jokes. You know, I got to do what I can to get some laughs here, lady. And it's not like I have material coming out of my ass. You know, if something's working and it implies me banging your daughter, you got to let me say it. You got to,
Hey,
or
there's
else
a
I'm
whole-
dying up there. You got to let.
You've
gotta-
been on
you gotta deal
Pornhub
with
in the last 3 years, right? That's what it's all about now.
Yeah, come on now. It's not like this is your first time.
You see, they put a fucking... You got to confirm you're 18 now when you go on that thing? This sucks because it was probably like 3 days ago when it happened, and I'm like, I knew it right away. But,
What's that?
so on Pornhub now, when you go to get on it, it's you have to click a button that says you're 18. And it pisses me off so much because I need to be shocked into the reality of porn. And this is what I mean. You know when you're looking at SportsCenter and then you hit Pornhub and it's like, BAM! And it's just like fucking dicks in the face and all that kind of stuff. It's like Alice getting pulled into Wonderland. Like, you can't take the stairs there. You have to fucking be yanked into the universe. And the gate that they put in front of there when they're like, are you sure you're 18? And I'm like, yeah, come on.
You don't want the warning. You don't want the setup.
If you don't want the warning, let me give you a little
I
tip.
haven't been on there in so long. I couldn't even tell you.
No. They try to
I
get
have
me
no idea.
the front pages for the last like 3 months, and I don't know why. I don't know what algorithm I accidentally got into, but the front pages, they always try to throw a Lloyd's gonna kill me for saying it this way. Tranny dick. It's always it's always like in the first couple videos, one of those, and I'm like, I know you're trying to get me, and
Man, that's so true. They really are like, it's a hostile takeover
they are trying to get
of the market. It's very casual now. Very casual.
but I like it because not the videos, but I like it.
Well, the thumbnail often does not advertise it.
No.
It's just like kind of the middle up. And you're like, oh, that seems like a hot chick. Yeah. And then you get into like, luckily you can like, you ever just put your finger on it and it shows like the slideshow? Like the second slide is like hog. I'm like, ah, god damn it. I was thinking about it. That's bad enough.
It's a really good day when I can make it past the slideshow. Like, usually just that's all I need. But they're like, I just need to go through all the slideshows that they have there. But again, I'm just really interested in, you know, when you're dreaming and you're having like a really visceral dream and it feels like reality, but then like a fat goblin in a bikini starts dancing on a pogo stick next to you and you're like, I'm dreaming. That's what a tranny dick is to me on the internet. It's just like it pulls me into the dream that I want to be in, and I know now I can shop.
So you can ignore it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's easy to ignore.
you shouldn't. You're racist.
You
if
ignore the
it.
goblin's pogo stick.
Yeah, but I like to know she's there. You know.
You like the rest of the goblin though.
Do you know the clown from Spawn? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
The violator.
Exactly, John Leguizamo.
You talk about being.
I don't know if that was the best or worst acting job I've ever seen.
It was the worst.
I change my mind every time. Because but you think about it, the movie's already shit.
Yeah.
That was kind of a decent role. Like, he really went all in on the Violator. Like, no one else stretched themselves as much.
Yeah,
like, if anyone was method in that movie, it was him.
It's true. And you gotta think it was a well-rounded performance, like, because he made me laugh. He was
and
scary.
he was rounded. He was in that weird suit.
He was super round. I definitely got hard a couple times when he was like licking the knives and stuff like that. So like all over the place, I felt every emotion you can feel with that guy. So
I mean, I don't know about that part, but you know,
you just aren't. You're not honest. That's the problem.
Anthony, I got to tell you, I'm being very honest when I say I was never aroused by the Violator in the Michael Jai White Spawn movie.
Then you've never been violated.
But hey, your lips to God's ears. Okay, thank God.
God's asshole.
Thank God.
You talk about wanting to be pulled into the world of porn. Have you ever seen anybody get pulled out of it?
Well, it's funny you say that because I think I'm in the process of getting pulled out because I read a disturbing Reddit thread the other day, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this world, I need a break from this world.
Don't look at where the chickens come from. The chickens, when you get chicken nuggets, if you look at how they make the chicken nuggets, it makes you really sad to go to McDonald's. I know that they're sad, okay? I get it. I can see it in their eyes that they're sad. You can't wash the sadness out of those poor girls' eyes.
Yeah, well, there's sad, and then there's dead.
Oh. Well, I was talking about in the moment. I don't mean in general.
Yeah, when you find out, and that was a weird. You ever had that happen? There's a kid on the open mics. I've seen him before. I forget his name. He talked about it a few times. I saw him. He talked about having like a porn, because you know, dudes with the Pornhub, whatever. Like, we have a roster in our head. We have like the go-to stars, and he was talking about like one of them like dying.
Oh, Justin George.
Finding out one of them passed away. Is that Justin?
So Justin does that, and then Max Schultz has a similar premise.
Yeah, it is kind of that.
It does leave you like you do get like sad. Mm-hmm. It's not like oh shit. Anyway, it's like
could you watch a Christy Mack video anymore? Do you know that whole story?
You kind of are affected. Does she go?
No, she's alive, but she barely. So, well,
I feel like she's had like multiple rumors of her death.
Well, what happened to poor Christy Mack was
going.
she dated an MMA fighter, and he beat the shit out of her.
That was her.
The War Machine one.
No, the one I was talking about, this chick, she was like very attractive, obviously, and she had like a thing with her husband, and they were kind of like on the more edgy side, like she was like a dom.
Oh.
Fast forward, murder-suicide.
Oh. Wow, that's really fucking interesting. Now that you put
it makes you wonder, you know, did he get edged one too many times?
Yeah. But who did the murder?
God damn it, the guy, the sub.
Sub rising up and murdering.
Fucked up. I don't want to give names or location, but I read the whole news. Like, it was crazy. I was just like, I wonder what they're up to, because they were like, I used to watch these two like. I'm talking like 7 years ago. I go in the Reddit thread. It's a bunch of me's. Like, dude, they helped with my... It's weird to say, but they helped me with like a sexual awakening. And they introduced me to like everything, and they like really helped me like grow as a man. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, it's like, dude, it's like 500 people. Like 500 comments. Like, this is so sad. And then I'm like,
See, that's why you can't do that Dom sub stuff, because the girl hit him too hard, and he broke like one of the zoo bears.
So they were a husband and wife, and then they divorced.
Oh.
So I think if you avoid the marriage, and you kind of do the freewheeling, like, we're together, but we're not like tied. Well, they're tied, but not, not.
Yeah. She likes to put old batteries in socks and beat the shit out of me, and I have to say.
But as long as there's
Reagan
no ring and contract and divorce, and you get this, you get that, I think you can get away with it. Because some of them seem like, hey, I'm just a freak. I know I'm going to hell. So let's just get as many nuts out of this as we can.
I like to think about that quite a bit, because you wouldn't know by all the things I've said today, but I don't have that freak tendency in me that Like when someone is like, what I really like is like fucking midgets getting peed on
The strap
in the fucking Vietnam. That's the only way I can come. There are people like that, and
Yes.
I love the thought of that. That's a specific thing that you got to have.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go too far. That Ted Bundy made a career on that, but like,
Yeah. I kind of not ride the line, but there's like a bit of it where it's like I just like if a chick is like aggressive, but I'm not about the stuff in the ass and the different devices and like the weird specific. I just like like
an assertive lady.
That's really all I'm getting to. But I've been searching forever. It's not that nuanced. It is like one or the other. It's like you're both in the same team, or she is like beating you to death before she sodomizes you, and it's like I don't want to do that.
You got to murder-suicide her.
So you got to really search for the middle ground.
It is,
and it's out there, but they make you dig.
It's the honeymooners. I'm telling you. I bet his wife was super assertive.
I'm just trying to find chicks Jackie Gleason was into. That's all.
Jackie Gleason, man, he was into UFOs. Do you know that shit?
I feel like actors, when they get towards the end, they pick a conspiracy, and that's like their last thing. It's like they did this movie, this show, and then they tried to uncover Area 51. Like that's always like Jesse Ventura's on the way to that.
Yeah, he's like the 9/11 conspiracy.
He committed to that so early. You usually have to be like in your 70s to start getting to be that kind of guy. He was like, no, mind control. When I was governor of Minnesota, I knew about the technology the government had. I always love guys who talk like that. Like
every letter is enunciated.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is a cunt.
Well, I've been saying this and no one understands. I think Shannon Sharp is just the black Jesse Ventura. The way he talks. Listen here, Skip. I just think he makes it. He talks like there's 57 muscles in the human jaw, and he's using all of them while we're all just using like 2. It's like Cat Williams. Why you say all that about these comedians? Because they're gonna be coming after you, Cat. They're gonna cancel you again. And it's like I'm like, your mouth is moving so much. There's so much going on with your mouth. And Jesse's like the old white guy version of that, where just like he's really enunciating all of his words because I may have to take part in a government deposition in the Supreme Court.
Chris
for my
Kyle's wife is a whore.
In Area 51. Area 52 is really the one we have to worry about.
He would beat the piss out of us, though, still. Don't you agree with that, though, that guy?
No,
Imagine
I don't,
him.
actually.
You don't think
used
Jesse...
to.
Wow.
No, I think I'm putting Jesse down.
You think now you're putting Jesse down?
But because I just think he's so old. He's just so brittle now. He's just like a little weird old man.
Imagine getting
back in the day,
he
was the body. He was the body not that long ago. But now I just think he's a tall, lanky, Rocky Horror-looking old man, and it's just,
That would be like a great last thing to see would be him yelling at you while he's choking you to death. Like, I told you not to do that.
Yeah. I used to say that about, this is going to sound really bad, but I mean, we've already covered every horrible thing. I used to have that kind of, not a sexual fantasy, but just like a kind of fantasy where like you ask a celebrity to like say his famous line to you. I used to always want Kevin Spacey to just shit on me verbally for like 2 minutes.
Frank Underwood?
Just as his normal type of character. Use insignificant little piece of slime. You really think like just have him just go off like in like Horrible Bosses.
Yes.
When he just goes, you really think after all that, like just I would just love for him to just give a speech just absolutely just destroying me verbally because he was always like that. He always had like some kind of 5-minute block in every movie he's in where he's just like, you think you have him, and then he's like the too smart for the room bad guy.
Oh, when he puts on the southern accent and does it, is Frank Underwood too?
Well,
and he gets the jowls going.
You know what's funny? He basically laid the groundwork for Frank Underwood in A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey.
I never seen that.
You never seen that?
No.
Dude, he has the smallest yet biggest part in any movie I've ever seen. He comes in like the last quarter of the film, and it's about Sam Jackson. I can't believe I'm explaining this movie because I feel like everyone's seen it, but that's okay. Matthew McConaughey is the lawyer for Sam Jackson, and Sam Jackson murdered these two rednecks that raped his daughter. So he's on trial in the South for murder. But even though it was like a justified murder because those two guys were pieces of shit, and his daughter was like 7 or whatever. It was like, fuck that. It was so bad, it would like never happen. It was
This
like
is a perfect
over the
90s
top.
movie. I can already tell. I love
It was a
these
90s, classic 90s, like civil rights message movie where it was like we had to invent something to be so bad we could all get behind, as opposed to what's going on in the real world. But, let's not solve any of that. Let's make up a new
McConaughey.
thing and get behind it in a movie.
Hell yeah,
But Kevin
McConaughey was
Spacey's
allowed to
like-
say the N-word one time in it because he was so cool. I'm sure.
He
sure got one.
The end of the movie is him getting invited to a cookout. That's the actual end. So that's basically the closest they could get to him getting the end pass. But Kevin Spacey's like he's like the attorney for like the state of Georgia or whatever. And they have this, I always remember this part, it's just like so Kevin Spacey, like Kevin Spacey bad guy. There's a guy who's like a professor or something or whatever, and he's some kind of like good witness. Like Matthew McConaughey like questioned him, and he's like, yeah, he's helping the case, all right. And then it's Kevin Spacey's turn to question him, and Kevin Spacey gets up, and he just goes, in Kevin Spaceyness, he goes, Mr. Such and Such, were you or were you not accused of statutory rape? And he pulls up his whole background, and he had like a stat rape charge, and like 20 years before, so he just completely eliminated like all the positive he was doing for the case because he just exposed like his one fuck up, just the way he stepped up to the desk, just like. Mr. Floyd, were you or were you not accused of statutory rape?
Oh, it's perfect, Spacey.
And he
Now-
just says it, rape, like just
So
He
going
really
back
spaced
to
it up.
going back to our Lloyd argument earlier in it. So I feel like you watched House of Cards, right? Did you watch House of Cards?
I actually didn't.
didn't. All right. So this might
I
not.
was
I'm
not a
sure
House
you
of
haven't seen
Cards
it, Wayne,
guy.
right?
I watched the first couple seasons.
Well, what happened is Kevin Spacey did a bad thing, and they had to take him off House of Cards, as we all know.
Yeah.
And they put Robin Wright, Jen A, in as the president for the last season, and she did the last season, and it was dog shit. Sorry, objectively,
Madam President.
dog shit. Madam President. That whole
They try to
fucking
get to
thing,
Madam President always, and it never works.
It never fucking
Even in
works.
movies.
So here's the thing. I'm a talent slut. I said it. I'm like, listen, that was like 20 years ago that he did a terrible thing, probably.
Real quick, did he not get? Didn't that all drop for him?
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just did an Unmasked, actually.
I think it was
a couple days ago. Everyone's talking about it, actually. And we just seamlessly worked our way into it. Look at that, guys.
Yeah.
Segue.
The thing I loved most about that whole thing, not to cut your story off, we get back to that, but he did that rogue YouTube video as Frank, where it was called Let Me Be Frank. It was one of the most
So
incredible things I've
creepy
ever
in the
seen.
middle of pedo charges.
Yeah.
So creepy. Such a creep move.
That's what they. So, man, I almost said that's what they do, but you can't say that. I don't mean that. What I'm trying to say is
They don't all do it well.
they don't all do. No, I just like if you see older gay. I can't say this. No, there's no way for me to say that what he did was okay because it wasn't, folks. Can I say it was common? Like, isn't that like? Remember Milo Yiannopoulos? He had that whole controversy where he was like, he like had this whole thing where when he was younger, he banged older men before he was 18.
Yeah, that's
And
the
he's
thing. Like,
I'm
people
the
say,
predator.
like a lot of pedos are. It's like their way of figuring out homosexuality. And then, yeah.
I feel like I'm apologizing for them, and I'm not trying to do that for Kevin Spacey. But what I'm saying is, I want to see a good last season of House and Guards. That's my point.
That's all we're trying to get back to. Is like, can we
trying-
clean up? Here's what we need to do. Just ask the question. I'm not saying to do it. And just if he's done any wrongdoing, then hey, take care of him. But if there's a way to clean up the charges where he really didn't do anything wrong, if it's kind of a technicality, not even a full technicality, if it's kind of a technicality where he's really not doing anything wrong, if he's just kind of a creep, get him back in front of the camera.
Can you like Schrodinger's box the evidence for just 2 months so they can film the last season of House
Well, I
and Cards?
really
And
think
open
there
that
wasn't a lot. There actually isn't really much to go off of because technically, the known instances of him, he was basically just gay in an odd way in Hollywood, where he would sleep with like actors, and the actors who would sleep with him were kind of gay, but also mainly trying to kind of just rise in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And then when they didn't really go where they thought it would go, they said, "Oh shit, I just sucked off Kevin Spacey." So they got upset about it, but technically none of them were underage.
Oh,
But that was the opening
okay.
charge.
Yeah, then he's in.
He's just a creepy gay guy.
Yeah.
I think I want to go with my
Which
my
is like,
co-
it makes so much sense now. Mm-hmm. He was always, even like his when he's dressing you down, pardon the pun, in these movies where he's just like, he's just like reading you the riot act and his charismatic speech. He always was kind of effeminate.
Yeah, gay as hell in American Beauty. I mean, I know he fantasized about the girl for so long.
If you look back at it, he was the gayest Lex Luthor I've ever.
Sassy Luthor.
He was a sassy Lex Luthor. Superman. Did you really think, Superman, that I wasn't going to find kryptonite and use it against you? What a fool. What an imbecile you are. How stupid He's kind of like Bill Maher. He kind of has a Bill Maher. I just realized if you try to do a Spacey, you will kind of dabble with Bill Maher.
That's true.
I can do a good impression of neither, but kind of a weird impression of both.
I think I want to go with my law of Cosby, where I've said before, where he's done some
the great law of Cosby. We all
he's
know.
done some horrible things, right?
Wayne loves Cosby, man. You can't stop talking about him.
He's one of the greatest stand-ups of all time.
Oh my god!
Now here's
Wayne.
the thing. Here's the thing. I would never buy
Go
a
ahead.
brand new Cosby album, CD, record, anything. But if I saw one in a secondhand store, I would buy it and listen to it and enjoy
A secondhand store.
Yeah, secondhand store. I would
Okay,
buy
replace that with Mein Kampf. Say the same sentence, but like I would never.
So
buy a
when
new
you see
copy
the
of
shelf
Mein
at
Kampf.
Dollar Tree
Here's the thing.
that
I would
has, the Cosby box set and then his latest DVD, I'm picking it up.
I would buy Mein Kampf brand new today. The reason being, Hitler's not making money
Wayne,
on it.
how do you say the least? But like the two things you've said are the worst. Come on, Wayne.
It's all about what are the celebrities
Anthony
want.
means this stuff. I think you're just trying to be outrageous.
I mean this 100%.
You don't believe this.
Yeah, I do. So here's the thing. I don't want to financially support a Bill Cosby, right? So I'll buy an album or something or one of his books, something if I see it out and about used. And I still get to enjoy the art without supporting the artist. The thing with Mein Kampf,
So he's saying
Hitler's
if he's
dead.
not making a decent profit margin off of you buying it, you'll buy it.
Yeah, he's already
What
made
if
that
though, Wayne?
The 25-cent Cosby album.
What if you could be sure that if you bought the Cosby album, he would at the very least stop having such cloudy eyes, so that when he did violate those poor women, they wouldn't have to look into an abyss ocean of fucking light blue.
Like the fucking Secret of the Nymph rat.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Prison will do that to you. Prison will do that to you.
Cloudy
I don't know if
eyes.
I've ever said that. Anthony, I don't know if I ever said this to you. So back when Cosby started getting heat for all that stuff, I had tickets to go see him at the Casino Ballroom, and I went.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
The Casino Ballroom where?
Huh?
In Hampton?
Yeah, the Hampton Ballroom. Yeah,
He was.
So I was at that
That's
show.
so funny. I bet that was his last booking.
Didn't you say he joked about it too? Like
He
was
did
like,
joke about it. Some girl got up in the middle of the show to go to the bathroom or something, and he stopped his joke mid-joke and said, "Hey, you better take your drink with you. You've heard about me." And everybody's like, "Oh, Bill, you silly bitch."
You're making this up. There's no way.
Nope, he did that. I know. I was there.
Wow.
Now that's evil. That's
Did
as
you
evil as it
did you
gets.
save the ticket?
No,
That's
I
a
didn't.
save the ticket event. Cosby's last booking before the rape case.
So here's the thing: is I went going.
That's like a cleat from O.J. Simpson.
A bloody cleat.
Yeah.
I went to that show thinking there is no way Bill Cosby did that because he was Cosby. He could have fucked anybody he wanted. He was Cosby. He was America's dad, right? Mm-hmm. Well, fast forward, he did it, and he ended up in jail. And I used to say, yeah, I saw Cosby right before that happened, and you know what? If he had a show at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, I'd fucking go again. And then he got out of jail, and I went, fuck.
Yeah, fuck.
No, I'm not. I would not go again, but it was.
That doesn't hold up too well.
You say you
Yeah.
wouldn't go again, but if you watch like an old Johnny Carson, Bill Cosby, like 7 minutes that he used to do,
The Spanish Fly bit, which is all about him drugging women.
yeah, but it's still brilliant. It's so good.
But it's so well written.
He really is. Nick,
Oh,
have you
God,
ever
the
watched,
timing.
have you ever watched Bill Cosby himself? The stand-up special?
Which one is that one?
I believe it's the one where he talks about like the different types of alcohols like affect people differently. Like
Is that when
beer
he's
goes
in like the
from,
full suit?
I don't think he was in a suit in that one.
No, that he does the that's where he does the Super Bowl bit. You ever see the one where
Yes, that's the big one. That was the one Mencia stole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's from
Yeah.
that special.
That is such a good special. It's so
I've
good.
seen that one. It is amazing. But I'm surprised. You know, he was never really my guy. I never really comedically. I love his other work, but comedically,
He was just way ahead of his time. Like he was on the Carson show
Yeah.
doing that before Pryor and all that, and he was like really fucking good. Like he was like George Carlin level of good in like the 50s, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
like it was really jarring back then because of how like polished he was. It was just like it was like someone being able to have a Derek Jeter swing in the 40s. You're like, where the hell's that from? So
Yeah.
that part's cool. I mean, you know.
So Nick, if you had to pick like one comedian from back, let's say like 80s or prior, like prior to the 80s, not Richard Pryor, but like who do you have one where you're like, holy fuck, that guy's good?
like if I could bring him back, or just one from them
Well,
that
let's
I'm
say like you go see them live.
a
today.
big fan of.
Yeah, or a big fan of. If you could see them live or something.
Ooh, that's a good one. You know,
And not even bring him
Kinnison
back
would be
because, like,
good.
for me, like I would like Emo Phillips would be one of them, but you can go see him. I saw him last year open up for Weird Al. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, you got to dig deep if you can grab anybody from the past. Like, you can go back and who's that guy that was the original there in the? He's in the Miss Maisel show.
Lenny Bruce?
Lenny Bruce. Yeah. So, and like,
I've never
imagine you
heard a
can-
lick of Lenny Bruce.
It's not.
I don't know.
It was horrible and good at the same time, but it was just he
That's
was
what
the
everyone
first.
says.
He did. I guess there was like a whole thing towards the end of his career because he would go to jail a lot for doing stand up because he would say things.
Yeah.
He would just start reading the court documents on stage, and that's not funny. But in the
What would
beginning-
he say on stage?
He would just be the first person to be like, I took a girl out and fucked her.
I parked her. That's what. Okay, that's what I always thought. Was like it wasn't that bad, but it was horrible for the time. He was the first guy through the wall.
Yeah, it was the not like a who's on first base type of jokes. Yeah, you know, he was the first one to be crude.
I think the only guy, because I'm more like the stand-up I love talking about, and like that I always like. Well, I love talking about all of it, but obviously, but like the stuff that like hits me isn't necessarily like it doesn't necessarily hold up great, but it was like I always think of like my first intro to comedy was like staying home from school in like the early 2000s. Like 2002, 2003, 2004, and like staying home either lying or I'm sick and I'm on the couch, and it was when Comedy Central knew what their purpose was,
Yeah,
and they would just play half hours or hour specials all day.
premium blend.
Premium Blend Comedy Central presents, and it was like, dude, one of the best sets ever is that Dane Cook Comedy Central presents with the black tank top, and at the end he's like on the table, and he does like the alien and like dumps the water on himself. Like that's like iconic. Pablo Francisco, another guy who's like a hack to everybody. One of the funniest specials ever. That might have been the first special I really remember that like resonated with me, was Pablo Francisco with like the pink light, and he does Little Tortilla Boy for the first time. And he does In a World, and he just does that all the way through, and he does all the voices and shit. And now people are like, who?
You remember Arj Barker?
I remember Arj Barker.
No.
Yeah, he used to do half-hour
Like the
specials
Beatles
on
haircut,
those.
right?
He did, yeah. He was so fucking funny. And he thrived on those specials. No, that's my first... So besides... so Eddie Murphy's... what was the first? What did I say? I think it was
Well, I was going to say, not to cut you off, but to answer your question, if I had to go back to like the 80s, because that's like where my mind started. Like, and then I got into like, you know, Ron White and like Brian Regan, and like eventually worked my way up to like, you know, Dave Attell. And then, but it was always like those Comedy Central presents specials, and then like, the O&A guys like Patrice, Jim Norton, and then Bill Burr was like a huge awakening, and then Louis C.K. is probably what's had the biggest influence on me, like more recently. That's had the most staying power. But if I had to go back to like the 80s and 70s, the only guy that holds up fully. Obviously, they're all funny and great, but the only guy that holds up with me fully is Pryor. Pryor's like the one where I still can put it on and laugh. But like Carlin never got through to me, really. I still don't really get Carlin, which is embarrassing to say. I'm not like a huge Carlin guy. I was never a Cosby guy. It's just, I don't know. There's like a datedness, unfortunately, to me. I don't know if that makes me an idiot, but... Pryor is like and Eddie Murphy, who basically is doing Pryor, is still like it's still the best. Yeah, and he admitted it too. He loves that was his hero.
One thing that was really cool. We were talking about, was it Mike Atrobus that said his first 2 mics that he ever did, he got brought up by Patrice O'Neill?
No way, really?
I'm pretty sure it was Mike Atrobus.
I think it might have been, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was Mike Atrobus, and then Ed Driscoll said he brought Louis C.K. up for his first time ever.
Louis tells a very, very, like, if you can listen to 1,000 stories of him telling the first time he did comedy online, because he tells a visceral story about eating shit the first time he went up.
Steve Sweeney.
It was at Stitches.
Yep. The Sweeney Meanie Show.
The Sweeney Meanie Show, exactly. Well, no, that was the second time he went up, actually, because he said Sweeney came, or Kevin Meaney came into the video store he was working in, and he's like, yeah, I did stand-up one time. It went horrible. And he's like, come do it again, because he knew he was going to be horrible.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
But the first time he went up was Ed Driscoll apparently brought him up, which is crazy, because he never says Ed's name ever when he's talking about the guy brought him up.
Supposedly he did one time on like Conan or something.
And he said, Ed?
He said Ed. I tried to find the video, I couldn't find it, but Ed said he said it one time.
Wow,
but,
so cool.
Ed was saying that he he's in the back like talking or whatever, expecting 5 minutes, and then I guess Louis like 2.5 minutes in was like, I'm fucking done.
Well, he has said also his first time he almost tries to block it out like a rape.
Yeah,
it was so bad and traumatizing. He's like, oh my god.
Mine was really bad fucking too, and I've been seeing a lot of new comics start recently and doing their first sets, and a lot of them have gone well, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because the first time I went up, the cord fell out of the mic stand when I picked the mic up.
Oh, that's the worst.
And it plopped on the ground, and I went, fuck. And I picked it up, and I did a dick joke to silence. Like, they can't get fucking worse than that. That's about as bad of a start as you can get. And I've been seeing, like, one kid, what was the kid's name again? We like him. He's a good kid.
Ben.
Ben. Yeah, Ben at Strange Brew, he went up for the first time ever, and he caught some wind on some crowd work that he was doing, and he fucking crushed. It was awesome. Like, that's like a hidden...
He did well, but I told... I wasn't the guy before him, or Ben. It was Ben, the host, had talked to the crowd, the table over there, and found out that one of the girls was a teacher for autistic kids. And then when Ben, the new comic, went up,
She was recruiting.
When Ben the New Comic went up, they were being a little chatty, and then that's when he went into crowd work mode, and he said something like, "What are you, a pedophile?" And he came up to me after. He's like, "Wayne, what do you think?" I was like, "Ooh, maybe not call the autistic teacher a pedophile. That
No,
might
don't-
be. Don't do that."
But
Other
he
than that,
did
you did
something.
good energy.
They already
could you
get
imagine
that
the
enough.
first time you go up and somebody's heckling your first time and you talk to them and it does something like it's a laugh?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would. I apologized to him during my first set, actually, in the middle of it. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm trying."
You did. I remember that very vividly.
I'm doing my best.
Just
Okay.
Okay?
I'm trying
Please
here.
have some respect. No, it's funny you say that because I kind of crushed it my first time. I'm not going to lie.
Did you?
But I
remember
but
you
I
telling us
crushed
that
it
story.
to
10
8
minutes, right?
comics. It was like I did like 8 minutes. I was only supposed to do 5, but it was my first time, so the host was like, whatever. Because my buddy's dad, who I mentioned before, who got me into comedy, was like, "Hey, you got to get a load of this kid." Like he's already shopping me in like I'm this like prime prospect, like superstar first round draft pick. Like you weren't gonna believe this. Like a minor league scout. Like you guys see he's got no control, but
amazing.
check the arm on this kid. Like I'm like, fuck. But I just told some bullshit story about a roller coaster, and I got like this like hero's welcome from like the comics that were there because there were just comics there. I mean, they put pizza on a fucking pool table, and there were 3 drunks at the bar, and then it was just us with a microphone in like this blood box, and I did great. But these guys who do great their first time, don't be envious or jealous because the second time, I'm telling you, there's no way you get 2 in a row when you start. I've never seen
That
it.
might be the case. You always got to be one.
Because my second one was awful at the same place. Montreal Bruins, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. 3 TVs, they left them on during the open mic. I had a line of dads who didn't give a fuck with their back to me. And then in the middle of I did some awful bit about bugs. Like when they get big as shit in the summer. Like I had an interaction with like a bug, and I was like, the bug was so big I could hear it breathing, and I try to get into like all animated, like it had a voice, and it was a deep voice. It was like Ving Rhames from Pulp Fiction, and I tried to paint this picture about like a Jack Spider. And I'm doing this thinking I'm like being inventive, and then as I'm setting it up, you just hear, "Yeah!" because they just scored like right out the gate, and I just had no idea what to do and just fumbled through the rest.
That was
It
like
was
when we were at the
terrible.
point. We were at the point, and they had the game on downstairs, and like it was almost during my punchlines, but it was like right before they like scored or something, and the downstairs
Yeah.
went nuts. Like Anthony said, it would have been awesome if every time they did a punchline they scored, and it was just a big eruption from downstairs.
Yeah, it's just
but
just every time they cut you off with a goal.
it just
It's like,
cut me
wow.
off right before the punchline.
A lot of offense tonight, boys. What about the other night? No, only when I'm on fucking stage. All of a sudden, we're shelling the goalie.
No, so the first time I went up, ate complete dog shit, and then I went to Portland, which is a tough place to go and do a bit about. So there was a Tesla car in Texas that it crashed into a wall and killed 2 guys inside, and that was the story. That was what it was about. But I saw a paragraph in it where it said both men were found in the back seat of the Tesla before the collision, which means that they were doing gay stuff in the car, and then the car sped up to 120 miles an hour and killed them. And I was like, I'm not saying that Tesla killed them for gay, but it didn't save them. And that was
Holy shit, dude.
that was one of the first things I said on stage to people like,
Their
Fuck
Tesla
you.
was an old school Christian Bible Belt Tesla.
it had a Jesus
That's a
fish
great
on the back.
joke, but I mean, can you do the dating stuff when you're there? Can you kind of
No.
can you just talk about like an awkward date maybe?
I can't.
Every now and then you got to go right to.
I did. I said this a million times.
That is crazy though.
1,000,001. We did the summer. No, what was the Jeannie Johnsons? And they had a gay flag behind us as our backdrop, which obviously totally cool. I just didn't realize it was back there. You should tell someone if you're going to do that to them. And I did.
You really should, though.
You should tell them.
Like, Elliot, just a 2-second, hey, by the way.
No, turn around.
What are you going to do, get pissed?
You have a bar
I just like to be cognizant. That's also, just visually, that's a lot of color all at once. You're like, whoa.
Much.
Yeah, you have a bar
Let
with
me
a
know.
palette of Resident Evil 4 and then a pride flag. I think that's on you.
Nope, I'm not paying attention to that. I was in the tunnel. I was trying to think. And anyways, I had a great Bud Light joke because it was right in the beginning of the Bud Light stuff where I said I always thought it was the watered-down flavor that would take out Bud Light, but it turned out it was a watered-down woman. And I said that right in front of a gay flag into a group of people who were really mad at me for saying that. And I went like this. I went, oops.
But wouldn't you see the back when you get on?
I didn't register it.
Oh my god! I'm thinking you came up from the stage like fucking Rey Mysterio, and you just had your back to the wall the whole time.
You want to know the best part of that whole thing? I didn't notice it either. We recorded our set and we noticed it in like we were on the sidewalk and we were just kind of like looking at it like, hey, how'd we do? And we looked at it and was like, oh,
there it is.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that meme with the monkey?
No.
Have you seen the TikTok meme with the monkey going?
Oh no! Yeah, that was one of those.
That's what it
Oh,
was.
oh no!
It was like that.
That was us.
I gotta see the new Planet of the Apes. I gotta. I love those movies so much.
God
They
damn,
are so amazing.
You gotta respect the monkeys. You gotta respect the monkeys. No, so, so every time I accidentally, so all of my bad bombs are never from arrogance outwardly. They're from ignorance. Like when it's always to gay too. Unfortunately, it's by accident. I love them. They're my people, but I accidentally offend them all the time. Like when me and Wayne.
They're just low-hanging fruits.
Cut that too. Third thing we gotta cut out of this fucking thing.
Third?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if we get 20 minutes out of this.
I don't think we do. So I hope you'll appreciate this joke because no one there did. So Wayne went up and did his set, and he did. When Wayne does more than 75% dick jokes, I kind of have a little thing if I go after him that I like to hit, and he did there. But what I did not know is that the Jacques Cabaret was canceled that night, and all those comics went to Donahue's, and which is cool, totally cool. But when Wayne did all those dick jokes, which went really well, by the way, I went up and I said, everybody, you know how Wayne Brady last week came out as pansexual. And I got to say, I don't know really what that means, but I know it's the second gayest thing somebody named Wayne has done this week. And I thought that to this day, that's such a good burn.
That didn't get anything?
No, that night. Every other night.
All right.
So the only person laughing was me. I was dying laughing in the back.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a missile, but that should have got something.
Yeah, I was
Especially
laughing
right
because I
after
love
him? You went on right after?
Oh, yeah, immediately after.
This is the week Wayne Brady came out as pansexual, too. This is topical.
Yeah.
Topical and roomical. You're talking about a guy right there. See,
Yeah,
I get caught up.
Third time I heard him say that joke. And I was laughing. I was still laughing so hard because I thought it was that funny. But I was also laughing because I looked around and everybody was just mean mugging him. It made me laugh even harder.
And then this was the first time I've ever gotten.
Where was this?
This is Donahue's in Watertown. Yeah, and this is the first time ever. Hasn't happened to me since. So normally when I do a really joke that offends people and all that, people are offended, of course. But 2 or 3 jokes later, you might be able to get some chuckles back and all that, and get people back into forget that you were such an asshole before. They did not forget at Donahue's. Yeah. I could not get a laugh after that. Every joke I had, they were like, "Fuck you!" Still.
Is Watertown like a? Is it like Pete Town? I don't think a Watertown is like a.
Well, Cabaret is like
Jacques Cabaret
sensitive.
was canceled.
See, I've never been, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Jacques Cabaret like a gay mic per se, but
it's not. But it's an LGBT friendly.
It's not a straight one.
Yeah, it's not, exactly. You can't call it a straight.
It's not an all straight.
The best thing about that night too. There's 2 things about that night which was fantastic. One, like Anthony said, my set did very well there that night.
It was all about dicks. Of course, it did well. You played to the crowd, you asshole.
And then,
hey Anthony. lesson learned.
Lesson
okay,
learned.
you got to adjust. Sometimes you got to. Sometimes you got to get with the dick.
Shortly after Anthony got off, another girl went up and did 5 minutes of miscarriage jokes and like killed.
Again,
4 minutes, but yeah, it was
those two.
Yeah,
that goes. You really hit the only spot that the
Yeah, well, Wayne was
they
doing.
were sore about.
Well, they loved killing babies and talking about dicks. It's not fucking my shit. I'm sorry.
I mean, I have gay friends, and I've never had bad luck saying a straight. Usually, from my experience, they get a kick out of me saying
Oh yeah,
another guy's being gay because they know he's straight. So
Yeah,
it's like
but
if
this is
you're
the
saying
thing.
he's being gay, he goes, maybe sometimes they play along with it.
They would.
So I
but-
think I was they were just being kind of a bummer.
Well, get a gaggle of them together and sprinkle in some straights in there, and what you'll have is a woke omelet. And a woke omelet is not good because they know
It's a
that
vegan omelet, and
a
no one
vegan-
wants that.
exactly. Ugh. And yet, no, I deserve that. I deserve that. That was a good learning lesson. Well, I don't learn anything from these things. That's the problem. Because even at Starks,
There's a lot of repetitive issues.
it is, yeah. It's me shitting on Wayne after he does well. I can't do it. At Starks a couple weeks ago, Wayne had a good set, and I said, give it up for Jason Statham if he found Gollum's One Ring. That was the second burn that I did to Wayne. And again,
For whatever reason.
silence. And it's so annoying because I'm like, really? Like, I can't let it slide.
Honestly, I would rather die on that hill knowing it should make more sense and no one's giving you anything than do what I end up doing sometimes, which is I try to make an inside joke about a comic at a mic that went 10 comics before me. Like, I'll make a callback to a joke they told at the beginning of the mic, and I'm 20th. I mean, remember that guy said, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and everyone's like, he's not even here anymore. Like,
I don't remember him. Yet.
So it's just it's quiet and not funny.
Justin did that at Strange Brew a few weeks ago. He was sitting there at the table. He was taking notes like he was like taking the SATs. He was scribbling notes, and he gets up there like third to last, and he had all these good, I'll say really good insults for a lot of the comics that were just gone. He's like,
Yeah,
"Fuck it,
you
do
got
them
to
anyways,
fight that
but they're
urge.
so good."
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy.
I do that all the time. I'm like, I have so many good roast jokes, but no one's going to get them. And then I go, well, someone will get them because, hey, we're all in this together. It's mainly just us, right? We don't have much of an audience tonight. It's just me. Yeah, we'll make it an inside thing. And the inside comic humor razzing us like, he does all this material. Am I right? This fucking guy. He only talks about that. I never get anything. At the table later, we can bust balls and have a good time and I'll get some laughs, but never as part of my set. And then it just kills time for some convoluted bit I'm trying to get off the ground, and then it's just a disaster. So
I went to Off Cabot yesterday. Have you ever done that one in Beverly?
No, I've always heard good things.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely where you gotta get there fucking early. But they
Yes,
do
that's
it
what I've heard.
last Thursday of the month. It's a real comedy club. It fills up packed every fucking time with like, I don't know, 70 people. I'm gonna say 70 fucking people. Like go to watch. Like it's full when it's in there. And some guy went up to a packed house, and Ali DF hosts Hollowed Ground, and he just went up and did inside jokes in his first minute about Ali's mic. He's like, Ali, got to get your shit together. And I was like, you're only talking to her. There's like 80
it
people.
sucks. It sucks because it's funny if you know the people. It's an
exactly.
inside. It's the ultimate inside joke
Yeah, it's like if a director could
in an
explain a movie.
outside venue.
Yep, nope. No
Wayne
one got
just
it.
quit.
Wayne's
That's
gone.
crazy.
He's completely out of here. He
This
dropped
is.
out.
I had the most views, and now I think I'm on the last episode.
Well, we had to get him out of here because every time he opened his mouth, he degraded a complete sect of people.
What is he doing? It was like he's having some kind of episode.
Well, did you see the African
just
video I
spills
made
out
him
of
for
him.
his birthday?
What?
Did you see the African video I made for his birthday? Oh man, I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Just send it to me
It's so good.
and make sure I can delete it quickly.
You're not gonna want to. I've watched it every day.
I'll
since I
laugh.
got it.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I think I might have corrupted him a little bit into the pun not intended dark side, because he's been quite aggressive here. But it's okay. I feel like I'm gonna get back on barrels of duck vaginas if he doesn't come back soon, though. He's really the
He has been starting to play his part.
yeah. He tethers me to reality.
Getting us on the rails. Yeah, I gotta take a day. You know, it's hard with a day job. Trying to, it sounds like, I don't know. I just feel like a real bitch saying that, because I do stand up every week, but it's like these certain spots, like off Cabot. I feel like I would love that, but it's so hard getting in there because I'm like, I gotta just, I don't know. Maybe I'll just take a day off of work or something and just get in there, or maybe get out early. I don't know. I gotta start doing more planning, because this is open mic pain, and we talk about all these open mics, and I feel like I've been doing comedy a while, and I've been to 4 of the ones you guys mentioned all the time. I'm like, I got to step my game up every time I talk to you guys. I'm not hitting all my spots.
I've constricted my list down quite a bit for open mics of what I used to just kind of be like, all right, where are we going this week? Let's try to find a new one. And then we go
you're like
to a new
on
one.
tour.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good time because we saw a lot of places. But man, I say it every week basically. The 4 that are really the ones for me right now are Off Cabot is definitely, you're going to get a real crowd there. The Point in Boston, you're going to get a real crowd. Comedy Mill in Biddeford, the boys up there, they're fucking fantastic. They always get a crowd. And that's only 3, and I don't have a 4. I don't know why I said that. I mean, Winter Circle gets a crowd a lot of the time. That's a pretty good one. I don't know if
Yes,
you've done that.
I like Winter Circle.
Yeah, Winter Circle's good.
Winter Circle's great.
But outside of that, I mean,
Shout out
with
Dave
the safe
Radigan.
gone and all that stuff, there's
Safe
not
is
like-
coming back at the Smokehouse, I think. In Lowell.
Yes, it is. That's what I heard, and I was at
Oh.
the last night of the safe.
Ah, was it a good night?
And that was, yes. The roast was great.
Was it just a bunch of inside jokes there no one knew? Or was it...
Kind of, but that was the place for it. And it had an audience, too. There was like a couple rows of people, like in that side setup, like with the chairs. And Fredo Cruz put it on. It was Fredo, Nick Powell, Mike DuPont, Kyle Seeley, Paul Salibi.
Is that how you say it? Salibi?
Salibi, I'm the only one who gets his name right.
We say it like 7 different ways.
Andrew
McGinnis?
and I don't know why I forgot his last name. I love Andrew. Fucking hilarious. He murdered. And Katie Coughlin. Mm-hmm. So it was a great lineup for Ren and Casey, and shout out to those guys also. They're the best. And
Go check out the fucking Smokehouse then.
I think they just since it's not around anymore, I think I can not talk shit about it, but just a note that I thought was obvious to everyone is they did like a full comedy lineup before the roast.
Yeah.
So it was almost like they did a mic, like they did an open mic, like a full open mic before the roast. So that was my only like old man pet peeve where I'm like, it's fucking late, let's get the roast going. Because it was like 10:30 when they finally started the roast. And I'm like, that's kind of what we came for. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even do stand up. I just went to say goodbye to the safe and just be there for the hang.
Yeah.
And it was an all-night affair, but it was hilarious. Oh, and Scott Fatone, the great Scott Fatone.
The greatest. I called him our generation's Andrew Dice Clay. I said that, remember, Wayne? And you were like, what?
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
That was a perfect way to say that. You're like, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I disagree.
Speaking of controversial.
I just think that I see the brilliance in everything that he does, and I know that he sees it too.
There's something there.
There's something really good there. Like when Dice Clay first started, he was a little weird when he started doing that character, but you knew that was the one where you're like, keep doing that.
Well, that was when he was Andrew Silverman.
Yep.
Or whatever his real name is.
And they're Jew. And then they were like, be fucking Dice Clay. Don't shake your head, Wayne. You're not allowed to shake your head at all this podcast. I'm going to teach you some respect.
Was that even a joke? Yes. By the way, speaking of another good open mic, do you guys know Ian Matthew Sargent?
Yes.
Wacky Wednesday.
Wacky
Wednesday.
That's such a
no
fucking
longer
hype
the
for us.
Blackstone, but it's still at the same place. But the new place, we always make the same joke because you just have to, especially in this current time. It's Portuguese owned, and the name of it is literally Jews Bar and Grill. but it's JU''S because I think the wife or the mom, I don't know, there's the woman who owns it or part owns it, I don't know, but her name is Julia.
And they call it
I'm like, you couldn't have been Julia's, huh?
Could be Jules even.
You had to be Jews Bar and Grill.
That might be a Louis joke
in
too.
this current climate.
But can you name another word that is a joke, a one-word joke like that is? Like, if you just say Jews, and it's a one-word joke, it's fucking hilarious. I don't know why.
This is when we'll really get in trouble, because I'll start getting into why hard consonants work, and there's a lot of horrible words that just are, they're fun to say in your head.
Yeah.
I'll say in our heads.
Yeah.
Never out loud, though.
Anthony. Wayne.
Never once. But yeah, no, Fatone does have a Dice Clay quality about him. I also see kind of a, maybe it's because of the way he's shaped or the way he dresses, and I don't know what it is, his vibe, but I get kind of a Stavros thing.
It's funny because I once called him a
From him
less
also?
fuckable Stavros. Not
Yeah,
on air,
you know,
but, yeah.
depending on the day, depending on the pants he's
Stavros.
wearing, that holds up. Because he makes some interesting decisions with his outfits, and I tell him all about it. But I always tell him, because you know what's funny about him is, like, and this is the thing with these guys, is again it gets back to confidence. Like, that's a guy you would be like, there's no shortage of confidence there, because he just says, I can't. Think about the podcast we've had. I really can't say the shit he says on stage.
No.
I really can't. Most of it I really cannot repeat. But I'll be like, damn, dude, what are you thinking? And then he'll get off and he'll go, oh my God. And he'll be sweaty and nervous and he'll feel bad. And I'm like, then why are you doing this?
It was the biggest conundrum I've ever seen.
He's a little sweetheart. I just want him to be a cuddly little teddy bear that he is.
What does he do?
He has this veneer of hardcoreness that he's just trying to. It's just like his only speed is holy shit.
It is.
And I'm like, dude, just rein it in, brother. Because I love the kid.
What is Scott's
He
day
really
job?
does have a heart of gold.
It's
you
coming
know?
on pants. I think he said what he said or something like that.
What?
What is
day
Scott's day job?
You know, I don't like to get into people's personal or professional lives, you know.
Wayne.
But I
I
don't.
do.
No, I don't.
You're trying to
I
dox
don't.
him.
Honestly, I would. Could you imagine like
Him with like
I
a
don't
call
know,
center?
like buying insurance from fucking Scott Fatone?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Just put him in a polo. Keep the funky pants and everything. Just put him in a polo shirt with such and such insurance. Just be like, listen, dude, you gotta fucking. Now we're doing the inside thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're getting inside. That was a decent Fatone.
That was
a great Fatone.
For a little second. I lost steam.
God, yeah. Well, he's Dice Clay. That was the point. So we should probably wrap it up, right, Wayne? What time are we at? How much are we?
After we cut everything out, we're at about 20 minutes, but before that, we're at an hour and 40.
Wow.
Whoa.
That is a lot of racism.
Oh my God, I
back
haven't
into an
looked at
hour
the
40.
time. Holy shit.
See, time flies when you're having devious fun.
Whatever this
So,
was.
Nick, where can the people find you?
Nick Tocco Comedy on my Instagram page, and I'm also, it's not up yet, but I'm getting a YouTube page off the ground. But go to my comedy Instagram, and you'll see a couple different spots I'll be. I got a decent amount of bookings over this summer because I think all of the decent comedians take the summer off. So I'm getting some spots now. And come check me out because I'm not that bad. So
I second that. You're not that bad. You're pretty damn good.
Thank you, brother. Check out Nick Tocco Comedy at Nick Tocco Comedy on Instagram, and go from there.
Yeah. Remember, everybody, if you have a gorilla, Nick is going to be sympathetic to its cause, and I'm not. Good night.
It's like, Cat Williams, why you say all that about these comedians? Because they're going to be coming after you, Cat. They're going to cancel you again.